Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Star Trek The Next Generation Season 1, Episode 5. It's called Where No One Has Gone Before. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, this one is about an engineer who comes aboard the Enterprise called Kaczynski, who has extreme, not ideas, but extreme extreme techniques in the realm of warp drives and the engine of a starship.
Yeah.
To the point
Scotty would give him a good slap around the head.
he would do, but to the point where Riker in advance is like, "Hey, the thing, the numbers he's sending us in advance don't make any sense. Like, me or the engineer can't make any heads or tails out of them." And he comes aboard with this assistant who later is referred to as the Traveler, because his name is not pronounceable by humans or any living species, for that matter.
Presumably, yeah.
Yeah, and they do a test on the warp drive, and it beams the ship out to about 2-3 million light years away, which is further than anyone's ever gone. It's in a different galaxy.
It's stupidly far away.
Stupidly far away. It'll take 300 years to get home, is what Geordi says. And then when they try and go back, because at first, Kaczynski's very cocky about this. He's like, "Oh yeah, I've just reinvented space travel. Yeah, bow down before me, you plebs." Is basically his attitude. And but when he tries to send them back in the other direction, back home, something goes wrong, and they go further outward, which the instruments tell them is about 1 billion light years from home.
A lot of light years.
Everything's like blue and bubbly outside, and they're in some sort of weird space. Actually, one of the interesting little details that's mentioned in this is that in 300 years of space travel, only 12% of the galaxy's been charted, and I find that fascinating. That in all of Star Trek at this point, we're still only at 12% of the galaxy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I find it plausible as well. Given how little of the ocean we have explored now here on our own planet after
Oh sure,
a
yeah.
lot of time, going down there.
Oh, absolutely. I guess my only critique of it then is that it feels like that 12% is very active.
Yeah.
Just to us in present day, like we've not even encountered life on our planet yet. I haven't done much traveling in space either, admittedly.
Yeah. We've not really. We've only just left like the solar system for the second time in an unmanned probe.
You say we, no, a machine.
Yes, but our instrumentation.
Yes, I don't know. Surely though that the probe's designed to only go so fast. I wonder how fast you could fire like a toaster into space, and how far would it get? Just whack a tracker on it. How long would it take? How quick is Voyager 2 moving?
Probably pretty quick.
Is it as fast as we could go though? Could we send up something that's much faster?
I mean, yes, but it would take fuel reserves.
Not that much, because in space, once you get them propelled, they'll just keep going.
It will.
You just need one good blast at the start.
Yeah, but if you catch anything.
True. You can plot a course. What's NASA for if not to map out a clear course for a toaster?
I don't know if you're expecting a serious answer to that.
We need to fire more toasters out of space.
Why toasters? Why not
I don't know.
microwaves?
It's the first thing I thought of. Toaster. It's the random object. It's fine. Anyway, yeah. Actually, I saw that article about Voyager 2. And my first thought was, well, give it a few hundred years, it'll be back.
Yeah, it crossed my mind.
V'ger's coming back, baby. So they're out there, and some weird stuff happens with the Traveler, and it's actually Wesley who kind of notices first that he's a bit different, and that he seems to be more instrumental to what's happening than the actual Kaczynski dude. Because Kaczynski's very arrogant. From the second he steps on the ship, he demands to see the captain. He's very arrogant. He's very egotistical. He's belittling everyone around him.
It's a bit of a knob.
He's the full knob.
Yeah,
he's the full knob, and he's very unpleasant, and he's very cocky when they do the first jump, and then after the second one, he has to be humiliated that he was never doing a damn thing. It was the Traveler all along, and we basically learn that the Traveler is this being essentially on our plane of existence. I'll basically compare this to I always go back to if you tell a two-dimensional person that about the third dimension, they're confused because they can't understand it, right?
Yeah.
If you tell us about a fourth dimension, we're like, how do you imagine that in your head? Like, what is a fourth dimension?
That's a pretty good idea.
Of course you do. So the idea being that this being is of a higher existence. Because one of my favorite things about this is when eventually, like, because Riker kind of like tells Wesley to piss off at one point, because Wesley's trying to tell him about
he is
phasing
being
out of
an
existence.
annoying little shit kid.
Yeah, because he phases out of existence during one of the jumps, and then he does it again, and that's when he gets really sick, and that's when the big jump happens. Yeah, as if the 2 million light years wasn't big enough, but that's a small one comparatively.
Yeah,
and when he's talking to the captain, because the captain like insists that he be woken up, even though Dr. Crusher's like, yeah, this is not a good idea, but he's like, hey, he's our only chance of getting home. We're just stuck out here if he doesn't get us home. And one of the things that I liked is even Riker gets a little bit arrogant here, where he's like, well, how come in all of our hundreds of years of recorded science, like have we never encountered anyone like you? Why have you never visited us before? And he just kind of like snickers to himself and goes, because, and don't take this the wrong way, but up until now you've not been interested enough to visit.
Yeah.
You've only just reached a stage where you're actually kind of intriguing.
No, it's funny. It's the same answer that a lot of people give now. Is that, well, why haven't aliens visited? Right? It's like, why bother? Right?
Because they haven't found us. The universe is a big place.
Yeah. And even if they did, are they that interested?
Yeah, I'd say they've not found us yet. It's probably the most likely answer, but I'll accept the other one as answer number 2 in the chain.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's like the idea that the travel that's happening is less about velocity, because he kind of like also kind of laughs at that and says that no, space, time, and thought are all kind of linked together, and it doesn't work in the way, because to you it's magic what I'm describing, that sheer thought got us out here. But that's
but Wesley managed to pick it up on that pretty quickly. He looked at those screens and was like, "Oh, power of thought. I get it."
Well, that's the thing here. Is he tells Picard, A, of course he's going to get them home because he doesn't mean them any harm, but B, that Wesley's special, that he's one of maybe a few who are like chosen children, and he describes Mozart and how Mozart was like that with music. That, from age of 4 he was writing symphonies and dwarfing anyone else that tried to write music, and that Wesley's like that, but with propulsion and velocity and starship engines. And I'm like, okay, we're really selling Wesley to us here, big. We're really telling us that he's the chosen one right now, and he's amazing.
I mean, I guess it's go big or go home, right?
It's funny though, because halfway through this episode, I was actually getting annoyed though, because that scene where Wesley does kind of look at the computer and he's like sort of saying, maybe it'll work like this, and he starts tinkering with it, and the Traveler's looking over at him with this smirk, going, "Hey, you're a good kid," and I was like, man, they're really selling Wesley hard. And then by the end of the episode, he's like, no, seriously, he's like special, and encourage that, Picard, because he's going to do big things for you and the Enterprise and Starfleet and humanity. He's going to take you steps forward.
It's such a hard turn for Picard as well, because earlier, obviously we've had the last few episodes where he's not been very receptive to Wesley, right? But even in this episode, where Wesley's like, oh, I noticed this stuff here with the phaser, and he's like, well, why didn't you say anything? And Riker's like, well, I mean, he kind of did, and I ignored him. And Picard's like, well, he should have tried harder.
No, I appreciate that. And he kind of... So by the end of the episode, so he gets him back, and Picard even tells the crew to, like, no, everyone give your thoughts to the Traveler. Either focus on what you're doing or focus on him and his well-being, because the power of thought will aid him. And he phases out of existence as he gets them back to with a starting point, essentially. And Picard brings Wesley up onto the bridge, and he's like, you can stay up here and have a seat. And then Riker, like, almost jokingly, is like, oh, sorry, Captain, but your rules state that only crew members can sit on the bridge. And Picard swings it, and, well, you're quite right. Yes, I'd have to. What about an ensign? Can an ensign sit on the bridge? He's like, yes, that would do it. He's like, okay, right, Wesley, you've got a rank. You're ensign Crusher.
Yeah, just what we needed. Give this cocky little shit rank.
I know. So he is sitting on the bridge. He's all smiley faced and happy, and Picard is encouraging him to study and and
Yeah,
so on.
and then Riker sits down.
And Riker sits down. Although I don't feel like this was the sitting down
No,
motion.
I was because it was like it looked a bit stiff, maybe. But
Do you know what I think it is? I don't think it's going to be the seat in the bridge. The impression I get from what I've heard about Riker sitting down is it's when it's like a stool that he comes in from behind.
right, okay.
I think the seat in the bridge, because it's just like sitting back into place, I don't think that's the Riker sitting down legacy that we've heard about.
I was disappointed, is all I'm saying.
I feel like it's going to be when he's at like a dining table or not like a classy table, like a mess hall dining
Like a
table.
bench.
Yeah. Or something like that.
Right, okay.
We're going to keep an eye out though.
Oh, we are. We'll be watching very closely anytime he's around any sort of chair instruments.
Chair instruments.
Well, I want to include benches and stools in that too.
Sure. Seating paraphernalia. Yeah, I can't even say it properly.
Seating appliances.
Seating apparatus.
Whatever.
Yeah. I was trying to say paraphernalia there a second ago, and I didn't quite get it. Even that one was a bit of a struggle.
It was a
Yeah.
bit of a flub in the middle.
Yeah, but hey, I was close enough. You got what I was saying. So yeah, so that was the end of the episode. So Wesley's the chosen. Joe is funny. I think this actually might be the best episode so far. As much as the Wesley stuff's a bit shoved down your throat and a little bit eye rolling, some of the
cringy,
ideas from the Traveler are probably some of the more interesting elements they've introduced.
Yeah, I agree. I really like all the traveler stuff and the when they're out there, and I think it's Data's just like, hey, maybe we should just study while we're here.
Yeah, and actually, Joe, I liked about that is Picard's like, spoken like a true Starfleet, graduate, and he's like, it is tempting, isn't it, number one? And he's like, aye, sir. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, if we can do this again, and they can send a proper science vessel, we're no use if we don't get home. So what's the point?
Yeah.
But he's tempted. Because we actually glossed over when they get out this far to the 10 million or 10 billion or billion light years. The far one. They all start having weird visions, because this whole idea of like space and time and thought being connected is that their thoughts start creating things on the ship, and it's actually kind of funny how much of a little subplot this is, because this feels like it could be an entire episode of them trying to fight their own dreams and fears and demons and shit.
It feels like the theme park one of original series.
Theme park? Oh yeah. I was trying to actually picture a theme park, and I was like. No, I don't remember the theme park. It was the shore leave one.
Yeah.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, because we get a Klingon something or other. Worf's pet shows up.
Yes, it's kind of like a cat. Is what
No,
it's how the way they talk about it.
Oh, sure, it didn't look like a cat though. It looked more like a boar.
Yeah.
Then an actual cat showed up for Tasha, and then she had a weird vision where she was back on her home, not planet. I think she grew up in a colony, but it got really dark because she just casually mentioned she was running from a rape gang. That was the sentence she used.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that was a really dark thing to just drop in the middle of a Star Trek episode. It's never mentioned again in the episode. It just gets glossed over. I wonder if that's something we'll go into as our past and our rough.
We're mature now.
Or rough neighborhood.
Star Trek grew up.
I don't know if casually mentioning a rape gang is in any way mature, but sure.
I'm saying it thinks it's mature.
So you have that, and then Picard has this vision of was it his mother or his grandmother?
I think it was his grandmother.
Grandmother, yeah, Yvette Picard, who is having some tea and wants to have some tea with him, and then Riker ends up interrupting the conversation. And then there's a bit later on where a random crew member's thinking of fire, so there's fire, and Picard has to kind of calm him down. It's funny because I feel like it feels very tacked on in the episode because they don't really do that much with it.
It feels like it's there for the sake of having some threat.
Yeah.
Because there's not much threat other than just them being stranded.
I feel like because they want to link it into the whole thought thing and how that this far out they're starting to become this is a place they're not supposed to be yet, and the thoughts are becoming reality. I feel like to get that idea across for the purpose of tying it into what we hear from the Traveller, I think one good example, there's not actually a threat, just one sort of like, Picard zoning out and like being somewhere else or something.
Yeah.
It's extended and rounded enough that it doesn't feel like it's just a thrown in thing. But that was there, and then of course the Traveller kind of tries to explain it the best he can, and how he's kind of from a different time. That's not accurate, but it's the best that we could understand it, is that he's from a different time.
Yeah.
So no, it's actually kind of a godlike figure episode, but it's a far more interesting one because it's more about, it's just an advanced race, and to us they appear almost godlike.
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't play like a godlike figure episode of
Yeah.
oh no, I'm gonna do all these things and you're gonna be wowed and you're gonna servitude.
If anything, he's far more like Jesus in the sense that he's just here to experience how everyone is.
He's a bit of a tourist.
Yeah, he's a bit of a tourist. Yeah.
He's like, oh hey, Hal Wesley Crusher, that's a cool historical figure. Let's go check him out.
Yeah. I don't know if he specifically knew Wesley. I think it was more just that he discovered Wesley while he was here.
Yeah, quite possibly.
But like that's why. Cause I think the idea is that so you had Mozart, right, and that, but maybe over the last like 500 years from our point of view, there's been like one of these types of people every couple of centuries, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's starting to accelerate, and now because he said there's maybe like 6 or 7 right now in the human race. So I wonder if that's why it's more interesting. It's like, and now there's like 6 at a time in a generation.
Yeah, that is more interesting.
So you said that as if like, to you it's more interesting.
As a concept.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's more interesting.
We're evolving. It actually made me think of the X-Men a little bit. The idea that every few millennia evolution loops forward.
Yeah.
So we're all going to be mutants in the future. It's fine.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it's okay. As long as I got a good power, I don't want a shit one.
What do you define as who's got a shit power? In the
Rogue's got a shit power. That's just a burden.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty shit. I'll give you that one.
I mean, I'll take telepathy, I'll take invulnerability, I'll take flight, I'll take many a thing. But I don't want something that I can't control, that it's going to be a pain. You know?
Yeah, I get it.
Something that's involuntary. I don't want that. I mean, it may be involuntary at first, but as long as it's something I can get a handle on and control, I'm okay with it.
Like you've got the willpower to control it.
How dare you? How dare you? So no, that was Star Trek episode 5. I thought it was probably had the most interesting ideas of the show so far. The Wesley stuff, because I like them
drag it down.
Yeah, I like them being stranded. I even liked Kaczynski as an asshole. Like I liked him.
Yeah.
Throwing a wrench into everyone else's day and then reacting to them and having to put up with them. That was interesting dynamics for the most part. The Wesley stuff,
it's just not that good, is it?
I mean, I don't mind the idea that he's presenting about these types of figures. It's just the idea that Wesley's one of them.
And it's the way that now that everyone's going to treat him like, Picard's like, hey, this kid's special.
Yes.
I preferred it when Picard treated him like a little shit.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm going to double check this by clicking on Will Wheaton here on IMDb. But if it makes you feel any better, I'm pretty sure he's not there for the whole show.
Is he not?
I am fairly certain. Obviously, Star Trek's a little while ago. Let me scroll down.
It's one of those things where I just associate him with the show to a reasonable extent.
Yes.
He's got to go pissed off to the Academy at some point, right?
Yeah, he is in 85 total episodes out of. I mean, that's like 4 seasons worth.
Yeah.
Less than 4 seasons worth. It's between 3 and 4. So the second half of the show is probably going to be spiffy.
Much better, yeah. He's pissing off to the Academy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's fine. I can deal with that. Just got to get through 3 bloody seasons of the prick.
Yeah, it looks like after he's in a lot of episodes through 1990, and then he's only in 1 episode per year after that. So he does show up for a guest appearance.
Fine.
Yeah.
If we must.
I'm just done. So 87 to 88 season 1, 88 to 89 season 2, 89 to 90 is season 3. So yeah, It has to be more than 3 seasons, though.
That's about 3 seasons is about what 75-ish episodes.
Well, that season 2 is a little bit shorter. Season 2 is 22 episodes.
Okay, so
it's
and what's this one?
52 plus 22.
All right, 74.
Okay, that's not.
I want as a ballpark, 75 was not bad.
Sounds like he's in some of the early stuff in season 4 and then pisses off.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Although I'm seeing a few credit onlys here, which does please me.
Ooh, I like that. Let's get more of those.
One of which was actually the last episode, funnily enough.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I mean, he's not the worst, but he's just, there's definitely.
It's just irritating, isn't it?
I know Tasha's not around for long either, so it makes sense because I just think those are the 2 weakest characters actually.
Yeah, like Tasha doesn't because I barely know who she is. Right? Most of the crew I'm familiar with, at least in passing, even having never watched it. Right?
Yeah.
Including Wesley Crusher. But so I assumed he was there for most of it. But Tasha, I was like, okay, she's probably gone within a season or 2 tops.
Yeah. So there you go. So that is where no one has gone before, and we will be back with episode 6 next time.
But what is episode 6?
Oh, that's right. We're going to start a new thing, weren't I? I said that last time.
It was, yeah.
Yes. Next one's called Lonely Among Us, and here's the description on IMDb. While distracted by 2 antithetical races applying for Federation membership, the Enterprise picks up a sentient entity that can alternately possess either man or machinery.
I really like the first half of that description.
Yeah, those seem like 2 different episodes.
The first half of there's these 2 opposing cultures.
Yes.
Both wanting in.
Oh man.
I like that.
Oh, the image is interesting.
What's the IMDb rating?
Is it higher or lower than this? Let me check what the last one was.
Yeah, we need context. We're building a base work here.
We're going down. This one, for the record, was the highest rating we've had so far.
Yeah, I agree with that though.
Yeah. This was a 7.6 on the average here. So
that seems reasonable.
Yeah. Next one's back to kind of the sort of average of the season so far.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see. But hey, oh dear.
Yeah. Oh god.
The one after that's not looking so hot. But
I mean, we don't always agree with these ratings.
We don't. No, there's been examples in the past where we've went in the opposite direction, but it's a gauge of expectation that's not bad, I feel.
Yeah.
So we're back to episode 6 next time. Let us know what you thought of episode 5 in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Guys, on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV if you want to support the show and the channel and everything we do here. You get these Star Trek reviews a week early at the $1 tier, among some other stuff, so go have a look-see. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening, and we always appreciate it. Keep watching Star Trek and sci-fi and space TV shows. And to everyone but Connor, live long and prosper.